So I'm James from 76 Services. I'm going to try and grab one of my little sales ones through, and I'm going to do it slightly different today. So what can we help you with? We are your friendly local IT support company. Always saying that line. We do a little bit of everything when it comes to computers. Voice over IP, so your telephone systems, internet and data connections, cabling and wiring if you're rearranging your office, if you've still got an office. A lot of people now are working from home. Your day-to-day is our IT support. License management. Now, a lot of people are going into the cloud, which we're going to talk about in a little bit more detail, but I find that we generally review a lot of customers and they've got so many licenses from Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace or anything that they're not using, or they're over licensed. They've bought the big posh license and they don't need it. They need the cheapy license. So generally the average customer, we generally save them around 20 to 30 pounds a month. So it's not too bad. Procurement and secure disposal and recycling. And my clicker's going to go a bit nuts right now, and it's suddenly going into autoplay. This is what is.
Oops.
My whole pen's gone nuts right now. I don't know what happened there. So we also do secure disposal and recycling. So what that means is if you've got old equipment, we will make sure before it goes, we'll give it a big clean up. And what is my whole pen has decided to go insane, so I'm just going to disable my pen quickly. Bear with me. Yeah, so we'll help you with that secure disposal. New technology as well. If your business is going for a change, we'll help you improve your processes and what you're going through and adapt that new technology and find the correct vendor for you. And continuity planning as well, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth in a bit. So our experience, we're founding in 2022. We currently have 8 team members now. The majority, we believe in documentation. So most of our processes are all fully documented. I think at last count, we were just over 134 different processes fully documented. 40 of those are to do with onboarding new customers. Collectively across the company, we've got over 100 years of IT support experience. So today what I'd like to talk to you about is cloud backup. Now, a lot of people, and imagine the majority of people here right now, will use a cloud service. Now, we specialize in Microsoft 365, so I'm going to focus on that one. But this is generally the same if you're using Dropbox, Salesforce, Zoho, Google Workspace, any of these. This is all applicable. So a little bit of a real world scenario we're going to go through. So as I said, as a business, probably the majority of you use Microsoft 365 in some form for your emails. You trust Microsoft. You never think about a backup. I mean, why would you need to? All your data's in the cloud. Cloud safe. We back up our photos from our iPhones, from our Android phones. We back them up into the cloud. And we go, it's all okay. But something's been deleted. And it was deleted a while ago. It was deleted over a month ago. And you go, oh no, accidentally deleted. I want that back. So what do you do? Well, you could contact Microsoft. Microsoft will chuck you through to their terms and services. Now, I won't read through this little blurb, but there is a link coming up that you can go off and review yourself one. Microsoft will essentially say, it's over 30 days ago, go away, it's in our terms and conditions, it's deleted, you deleted it, it's your fault. Dropbox, 90 days, unless you're paying for the Pro, you go up to 365. Google Workspace is 60 days. So, but they will all just turn around and say, well, you agree to this in terms of service. I mean, who reads the terms and services now? Normally, you're going through these things, it's next. We're all guilty of it. It's a little screenshot of it just there to prove it's there, and the link as well if you want to go and double check what I'm saying. So the scenario we're going through, well, the customer deleted some files. They're in a bit of trouble. They couldn't get them back. Microsoft said where to go. Now, in this case scenario, we got quite lucky. They had an old machine tucked in their warehouse that had a cached copy of the files. We booted that up off the network, copied them onto the USB key, and brought it back. They were lucky. They normally lost their accounts. It was accounts files from 2017. They're trying to go back to date something. I'm not too sure why, but yeah, they're going back to 2017 in this situation. So it's a case of what could have happened really if we didn't have that old machine there. Well, nothing. They'd have lost all their account files, to put it bluntly. They weren't prepared for it. They were very lucky. We're all very happy, very fortunate. Well, what can be done? Well, we looked at this as a business and we sat and went, right, so this is a scenario that does happen. It can happen. We need to give, there's lots of solutions out there for the much larger corporate companies. But for the smaller businesses, it doesn't exist. It's just not. Most people sit and say it's not viable. You need to have another cloud solution that hosts systems and everything and connects in, backs it up, and it can be quite pricey. So we bought one of these systems and we built it up on our own cloud platform. We put it online and we offer it out to smaller businesses. So we looked at it and we went, as we're going through Microsoft 365, that's our specialty. People use other things. So, and a lot of IT companies will resell our service and white label it as well. But the majority of IT companies, they'll offer you Google Workspace, your Google Shared Drive, Salesforce, Box, Dropbox, IMAP, emails. Even if you've got a basic email setup from your current web designer provider, pop an SMTP, we can still back those up. We can also back up your desktops, your laptops, and your servers as well if needed into the same cloud solution. I guess that brings us up to minute 7 actually now, according to my timer. So yeah, I mean, that's just a brief little story I just wanted to bring you through on a cloud backup and how, as a business, we learned in it. We believe in helping smaller companies. So we wanted to bring that through and say, look, here's a real world. We're all there. The majority of people here will be using a cloud backup solution, as I mentioned, a cloud solution of some kind, and we've not considered the backup of it. You go, it's in the cloud. It's safe. Yeah, there we go. I guess it's any questions really on that, guys?
Brilliant. So James, do you want to just stop sharing your screen? Fabulous. Has anybody got any questions? I've looked. Go. Anybody got any questions?
I might have a really stupid question.
Far away.
So you say about like, so you've got like created your own like backup system. If you delete something from there, how many days do you have until it's? Is that does it make sense, or have I completely misunderstood?
So as a customer, you can't delete stuff from there. Okay.
Okay.
As a business, I'll be very honest with you, I don't delete stuff from there because it's a pain for me to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to manage your data retention on there and everything. It's easier for me to say, look, I just leave everything indefinitely there. Okay.
Okay.
So it's the cheaper solution because for me, otherwise I've got to sit there and I've got to analyze the date. So because all your backups encrypted, I then have to talk to your systems, wherever it's coming from, to get the decryption key, to decrypt it, to unlock it, to look at the date it was created, and then bring it back.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the easiest solution. Just say, I just keep it forever.
Cool. That makes sense.
Matt.
Thank you.
So I've always worked on laptops in my business, so I can take them everywhere. How come after a couple of years they just go to absolute crap? They suddenly go jerky and slow. Why is it? Why does that happen all of a sudden?
So it's the battery failing. So in a nutshell,
I use power.
It's still so. Bit of a weird thing the way they work internally. So you're always powered off your battery. Okay. So you're never powered off the main. So when it comes through, it comes into the battery as the first stop and then comes through. Otherwise, when you rip your power lead out, your laptop will just die. Okay, so go and rip your power lead out right now, your laptop will keep working.
Right.
So you're powered off the battery. That battery only lasts a certain charge cycle. Generally, it's around 1,000. Okay. And then they just go nuts. They'll chuck out the wrong voltage. Computers are very sensitive to voltage. And that's all it comes down to, really, as well.
Okay. Right.
So new battery surprisingly can resolve a lot of issues on a laptop. The downside with a lot of laptops nowadays is they're all integrated batteries.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a, but you can replace them. You can get them a little bit more complicated, but a new battery generally is around 30 to 40 pounds. So, yeah. But given at the point in time that will happen, it's generally around the 3-year mark. As a business, what you're using it for, you then need to look at it and evaluate if it's the most cost-effective solution to replace that battery or to buy a new device that you're going to have a 3-year warranty on and you're covered. Because if it does fail, what's your continuity plan afterwards? Now, with our cloud backup solution, you can restore your data to anywhere. So you can just go and, if you're on that, you can go and buy a device in Currys and we can have you up and running as soon as you get home, sort of thing. But if you don't, you've got to drag it over in the USB key and all these wonderful things. So it's, yeah,
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah.
James, I've got a question on license management, because I was quite interested when you started talking about this. So,
Yeah.
like several people, I suspect, I pay for like a year. Like what my Office 365, I think I pay monthly. Dropbox, I pay a year. I've probably got other things sitting around that I've paid for. So if I was to have it all looked at, is there then take on the license and I would then pay you guys who manage the license? And can you get money back, or do you have to just say, you know what, we'll just end everything after the next year?
So you generally, depending on your contract with them.
Yeah.
Now, with the monthly contracts with Microsoft, depending on what you've signed up, if you signed up to the new customer experience, whilst you might be paying monthly, you might have signed up for a year, or you could be paying monthly and signed up on a month-by-month basis. So once again, it comes down to we'd need to review what type of license agreement you've got there. With Google, Dropbox, and Salesforce, as much as you're generally paying on a month, Dropbox, it's normally you pay for a year up front. Google and Salesforce, you generally sign a year's contract and pay monthly. Yeah, if you're using Live Drive, similar thing, it's a year's contract, but you pay monthly as well. So it depends on the contract as well. If you're on what we call, and I didn't discuss it today because I just want to focus on cloud backup. If you're on what we call our totally unlimited package, that's all included.